On today's show, we get an update on parting ways and Pembroke government on the local scene. Stop by Plymouth Pride, hear original poetry, and welcome Duxbury Senior Center Director Joanne Moore and AARP State Director Jennifer Benson on Community Conversations.
And if you're looking to learn or just have some fun, we'll also be talking about classes, programs, and upcoming things to do in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, and Duxbury.
We're glad you're here. Let's get started. Last year, we went on the local scene to Pilgrim Hall Museum, where Reverend Dr. Robert Gomes delivered a lecture on Parting Ways Cemetery, the final resting place of African-American Revolutionary War veterans Prince Goodwin, Cato Howe, Kwame Quash, and Plato Turner. We reconnected with Dr. Gomes and Community Art Collaborative at the Plymouth Public Library to learn about the progress in advancing knowledge of parting ways since we last met.
Today's event is being held at the Plymouth Public Library, and it's part one of a three-part lecture series on a paper that was written a long time ago by Reverend Dr. Gomes, talking about this concept of what would it look like to have a monument in the making, and what would that process be? Specifically talking about the Parting Ways Cemetery, and what is his personal connection to the story and the history of Parting Ways.
Parting Ways is a location for a site that, for African-American slaves, they served in the American Revolution in 1776 in Boston. Because of that, they were given their freedom, and they were awarded 94 acres of land in Plymouth.
When you go upstairs into the historical section of the library, there's all of these filing cabinets, jam-packed, full of information. Some of it's genealogy that was copied from Pilgrim Hall Museum and the Town Hall, but then there was all of this research that was done. Marge Anderson and a handful of other people who were working from the 1970s to about early 1990s on gathering all of this genealogy. Who were all the people in Plymouth? How were they possibly connected to Parting Ways? What happened when they did the dig with Professor Dietz? What were those items that were found? How are those historically relevant and important? So we talked to the library about how do we help solve this problem of making it digital. So we were able to secure a grant, and the library is going to hire an intern to help them with this process. The process of getting all of these documents digitally, it opens it up to the whole world. And you think about professors who want to talk on this subject. Now they have access to that information. Students who want to write research papers. Now they have access to that information. We can illuminate this story on a much larger platform.
I think that the library purpose is to be the center of the community. We want to be sure that the untold stories of our whole community are available to the public. And I think this project particularly tells some of those untold stories. And I think they make for a richer community. They make for a more inclusive community. And I think that the library is about inclusivity. And I think this project is a great beginning towards telling more of those stories.
Without the work and the contributions of Black Americans, we would not be where we are. So many of those stories are not told as often, especially in the early founding stages of our country. So when you have the opportunity to tell stories like this and to unpack them and use archaeological facts and insights, because we do have information about the lives that these men lived, it is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to understand what early American history and the contributions that Black Americans have made throughout history, from the time that they arrived here as slaves and through liberation, all the way up to today. These are absolutely stories we should be telling.
As stewards of the stories, we're kind of like the person who gives you the guided tour. And it's important to be able to give our children and the future generations access to all of these amazing stories. We want to keep them curious about who we are, where we've come from, where we've gone, so that we can start paving a path of where we're headed.
It's a movement that is, I think, something to be proud of, especially if you're black, especially if your skin is brown, especially if you feel marginalized. It has a metaphor for continue to rise up. I think there's a good movement moving on.
I hope it continues to be taught in universities.
Round out your summer with a fantastic lawn party hosted by the Plymouth Antiquarian Society on August 23rd. The Antiquarian Summer Fair will take place on the front lawn of the Hedge House Museum, featuring antique vendors, historic reenactors, raffle prizes, and live entertainment showcasing Plymouth's rich history. Enjoy the warm waterfront ambience at this fair that is free to attend. For a small admission price, tours of the 1809 Hedge House will also be available.
The Plymouth Waterfront Festival has been an August tradition for 37 years, and the Plymouth Area Chamber of Commerce's festival is back for a full day of community and family-friendly summertime fun. Come down on Saturday, August 23rd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Explore the vibrant waterfront market featuring over 200 local and regional nonprofit exhibitors, artisans, crafters, and vendors offering handmade goods, unique decor, jewelry, informational resources, and more. There will be over 30 festival food vendor favorites to quell your hunger and tantalize your taste buds. Live music will be filling the stage of the Plymouth Waterfront Amphitheater all day long. Check out the lineup on the Chamber's website. Bring the littles for all-day-long activities in the Kids Discovery Zone, located in Brewster Gardens. And if you love classic cars, don't miss the Rebels and Rods Cruise-In Car Show, revving up on Water Street between 10 and 3 p.m. The traditional crowd favorite caps the day around 4 p.m. for the annual Ducky Dash Race, when over 1,400 rubber duckies race down Town Brook, with 3 ducky winners taking home a cash prize. The local scene pop-up team will be there too. Look for Tiff and her team and step up to the mic to say hi. Parking can be a challenge, but the Chamber is looking out for you. Visit their Facebook page for suggestions and a handy map with designated parking locations.
The next Almost a Book Club at the Duxbury Free Library is happening on Thursday, August 21st from 11 a.m. till 12 p.m. If you prefer to get together with no pressure to read a specific book, this club is for you. Just a gathering of literary lovers talking about books and exchanging recommendations with other readers and the library staff. Open to all ages, the Almost a Book Club meets in the library's periodical room on the first Tuesday and third Thursday of the month with no registration required. Refreshments will be served.
The local scene has pride. The local scene street team popped up at Nelson Park in Plymouth for this year's Plymouth Pride Festival.
We're here at the 5th Annual Plymouth Pride Festival. It's going to be a magical day for the community, and we're going to talk to some wonderful humans. Let's see what these folks have to say. I'm with Linda, who is the Vice President and the Volunteer Coordinator for Plymouth Pride. Hi, it's great to see you.
It's great to see you, too. Thank you for being here.
Of course. So Plymouth Pride has been around for 5 years. How has it evolved over time?
We've grown a lot. This is our 5th festival. Our first was in 2021. We were at Mayflower Brewing up in the Industrial Park, and it was an amazing event. And I think the community was thirsting for people to have a chance to connect. And we have since outgrown that location. The past 4 years, we've been here at Nelson Park. Continues to grow. We get a couple thousand people or more each year. This year, we have over 100 vendors. We have entertainment all day. It's definitely a wonderful festival and brings the community together. We also do things year-round. Every month we do a monthly gathering at the library where we hang out, maybe play games or do craft night. We've done yoga, self-defense. The 3rd Wednesday of every month we're at Speedwell and we hang out there for a bit and just get to connect.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Why is it important to have a festival and have a pride organization in the town?
I think that there's a lot of people that are really looking for connection with others in the community, and I think that this is a good way for people to have a chance to meet other people in their community, you know, the visibility even for the people who maybe are still not comfortable with themselves, and just kind of seeing that there are people out there in the community that are, you know, living their life and know that, like, it's okay and come find your people.
Definitely. Linda, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.
It was so nice talking to you, Tiff. Thank you.
I'm with Representative Michelle Badger. It's so great to see you today.
Thank you for having me here. I'm so excited to be here. It's such a wonderful event every year. I couldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it.
Why is this important?
You know, I think it's really important. It shows that we're all coming together to uplift and make sure that everyone knows that, you know, in Massachusetts, we have this value where love is love, and we need to make sure that everyone can live out and live their best lives, right? That you're living your true, authentic life. And this is the community, both allies and those within the community, making sure we're standing up and saying this is important to us, and celebrating, you know, the LGBTQ plus community.
And why was it important for you as a representative to be here today?
I mean, all the same, really the same issues. I mean, we see it in U.S. politics, where people are coming after trans rights or coming after gay rights, LGBTQ, you know, along the spectrum. And even in Massachusetts, we're seeing that. We're seeing it in pieces of legislation that aren't going anywhere because we believe in what it means to live your true authentic life, that everyone should get that opportunity to. So for me, it was really important as state rep to show up and, you know, show my true allyship.
Wonderful. It's so great to see you today.
Always good to see you. Thank you so much, Jeff.
I'm with Melissa Ferretti, the chairwoman for the Herring Pond Wampanoag Tribe. It's so great to see you.
Thank you. I also can't forget to note that I don't know if you know this, I was recently elected for my second term on the Town of Bourne Select Board, and
Congratulations!
I'm now chair of that as well.
So many things to celebrate. In November, the tribe was recognized. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So we worked real hard, you know, as you know, over the years, gathering our historical documents and getting our things together, and we went forth and sometime early in the year and started, you know, getting these things together, and we approached the governor and her council and asked them to consider our history and the Herring Pond Tribe's, you know, connection to the state and Plymouth, Massachusetts, and all of those things. We provided them with quite an extensive 500 years of history to prove our existence and our continuity. And our Honorable Governor Maura Healey and her council was just amazing to work with, and they saw fit to formally recognize and reaffirm our sovereignty through a standalone executive order number 637. And the best part about it is that not only was our sovereignty reaffirmed, we were also given all of the rights under the previous executive order 126 from the 70s.
Wow, so much to celebrate.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
So why was it important for you to come today and represent the Herring Pond Wampanoag Tribe?
Oh gosh, Nicole and her crew and this, you know, the Plymouth Pride, since it's been started, I think she asked me the first year to just come to a land acknowledgement. And I think I said up there, it's like my 5th year. I've came every year and just to start and open up in a good way.
Yeah.
So, you know, Wampanoag people, we're a kind people, we're a giving people, and as the praying Indians, right, we always want to help people to start in a good way, especially on our own homeland. So it was really the invite and the respect from the Plymouth Pride, knowing this is our homeland and asking us to do this, but it's a great honor, of course.
Well, it's a great honor to have you here. Thank you so much, Melissa. It's always such a pleasure to see you.
You too. Hope to see you soon.
I'm with Tanya, who's the Executive Director of Mass Equality. How are you today?
Great, how are you?
Good, happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
So can you tell us a little bit about Mass Equality?
Sure, so we are a statewide grassroots organization. We do legislative lobbying, community educational programs, and community organizing all across the state for LGBTQ rights.
And why was it important for you guys to be at Plymouth Pride today?
Well, first of all, Plymouth Pride is one of my favorite prides of the year, but it's also something where we have seen, anti-LGBT activity on the South Coast, and we really feel that it's important to make sure that the community that lives here feels supported and loved and sees what we're doing at the State House and what we're doing locally to make sure that we get the message out that we've got their backs.
Thank you so much. It was great seeing you.
Thank you. It's great seeing you.
I'm with Sophie from Plymouth No Place for Hate. It's so great to see you today.
It's so great to see you too. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm so excited to be here at Pride today.
Why was it important for you folks to be here today?
It was important for Plymouth No Place for Hate to be at Pride today because our mission is to promote diversity and inclusion in our community here in Plymouth. And of course that includes the LGBTQ community, all of our queer and trans neighbors and friends, and especially under, all of these federal administration and all these things that are really putting our communities at risk, and we want to be out here to support and be together with all of our friends and community members.
Well, I'm so happy you are. Happy Pride. It was so great
Thank
to see you.
Thank you so much. Happy Pride.
Andrew from Plymouth Rotary. Hey, it's great to see you. How are you?
Good to see you. Always love to be with local scene, the supporters of the Rotary auction year after year, and glad to be here at the Pride Fest.
So what brought Plymouth Rotary to Pride Fest today?
Well, while we're here, as we're promoting Plymouth as an international city of peace, the Plymouth Rotary Club is the chartering organization to become one of the over 600 international cities of peace around the world. The Select Board has embraced it. They signed a proclamation that says Plymouth is an international city of peace, and September 21st is the International Day of Peace, and we will be having an event on that day.
What's the importance of this proclamation?
Well, the importance of the proclamation is saying that Plymouth already is a city of peace. We have no place for hate, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, churches, schools, everything promoting peace and conflict resolution. So we're just wanting to expand on that.
Well, it was great chatting with you. Thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate your time.
Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you. With Sheila Vaughn from Cape Cod Community College. Hello.
Hello. I miss you.
I miss you. It seems like it wouldn't be a pop-up if I didn't interview you.
I love to see you and I love the local scene. So anytime.
So happy to hear that. Why was it important for 4Cs to be here today?
Well, honestly, this is one of my favorite events. I love Plymouth Pride. But, the inclusivity is so important, especially in these trying times. But it's really important for us to be here and just to be part of the community. And we just love the Plymouth area, but also just to show our love and support for the Plymouth area and for the LGBTQ plus community.
Does 4Cs genuinely believe in inclusivity?
Absolutely. And, I think that part of what is really community college is that inclusivity. Anybody can come to our school, and it's so important that anyone feels comfortable and supported, and that's really my goal as the director of admissions, is to really have everybody feel that they can be supported and loved as part of going to college.
And I bet they do. Thank you so much, Sheila.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. With Emily from Sustainable Plymouth. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So why was it important for Sustainable Plymouth to be here today?
Excellent, thank you. Sustainable Plymouth, it's important for us to be here today because we really like to engage residents to get them connected to other environmental organizations in town, whether it's our own or places like SEMPA, and also connect with town leadership to put forth sustainable initiatives in our town.
Why do you think festivals like this are important to the community?
To me, it's all about being inclusive, and for me, Pride is everybody is welcome. Everyone show up with your interests, with what you're passionate about, and come in and share your interests with us and work together towards our shared goals.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
There is a delicious cool treat at the end of this summer's Reading Rainbow. Kids, grab your completed summer reading log and head down to the Kingston Public Library on Friday, August 15th for an end-of-summer celebration. The Kona Ice Truck will be at the library from 10 to 10:45 a.m. when kids can chill with a Kona shaved ice treat and turn in your reading logs to compete for a summer reading prize. If you're unable to attend the morning event, reading logs can still be turned in all the way up until 4:45 that day to be eligible. No registrations required. Send librarian Miss Hawley any questions you have at hyanucci@kingstonma.gov.
Next up is poet Paul David Shea in a reading of his original work at Breathing Lotus Living Arts in Kingston.
So I'm going to read a piece that I wrote about 2 months ago. This particular piece was one of my favorite poets, is I'm sure you all know, is David White. He has a piece called Finisterre. And there's a line in it that says, no way to your future now but the way this shadow can take you. And that always hit me just a certain way. And one day I was thinking, I'm going to use that as a prompt. So I used that line as a prompt. And the prompt was, where could this shadow take me? So that's the name of this particular piece that I'm going to read. Where could this shadow take me? Where could this shadow take me if I stopped flinching in its presence? If I stood still long enough to hear its message and what it has been trying to say through this ache that lives deep in my chest. This silence deep in my voice, this weight I carry without ever knowing its name. It could possibly take me into rooms I closed without ceremony, without ritual, rooms where my grief still sleeps on the floor by itself, where my anger sits upright, patient and wild-eyed, enraged and waiting to be remembered, not as a threat, but as a signal that something sacred was crossed. Maybe it could take me back to the moment I split myself in two, one half for survival and the other left behind to keep my truth safe. It could show me how to gather both parts, stitch them back together with tenderness and compassion, for I was a child once remembered and then forgotten through time. It could be down, it could take me down, oh yes, but not to drown, to root, to listen, to feel the ground of me again. This shadow may just lead me not out of the dark, but through it, until the dark no longer feels like exile, but like a home. And perhaps on the other side of this place there is a light, not just above me or below me, but deep within me, one that never needed another's permission to feel safe ever again, one that only ever asked me to stop running and look and say, there you are. Begin right there where the shadow ends. Thank you. Yeah, that's it.
In 1807, Nathaniel Windsor Jr. built the grand home that now serves as the headquarters of the Duxbury Rural and Historical Society. Born in 1775, Nathaniel began his career carving figureheads in his father's shipyard. He went on to become Duxbury's most far-seeing merchant, recognizing the changing times and building the clipper ship building business in Boston that survived until 1907. Gather your kids and come enjoy this beautiful historic home at a unique outdoor picnic story time on the lush side lawn of the Nathaniel Windsor House on Thursday, August 14th at 11 a.m. This event is ideal for children ages 2 to 4 with a caregiver. Story time will run for about 30 minutes and no registrations required. Bring a chair or picnic blanket. The Nathaniel Windsor Jr. House is at 479 Washington Street in Duxbury.
Dave Antoine is next with a Just the Facts update on Pembroke government on the local scene.
At their only July meeting, the Pembroke Select Board returned to Veterans Hall to discuss their July 23rd agenda. What might have appeared to be a traditional vote turned into a touching tribute to Joel Sugarman, a beloved longtime resident and volunteer. The donation acceptance concerned an ADA-accessible picnic table in Joel's honor, a dedication to his years of service from assisting those with disabilities to providing tours at the community center. People spoke in favor of the man, well-loved and respected with a legacy that would be immortalized with a prominent table at the center. Shortly after, the DPW director made a request for a vote to approve the changing of the intersection of Lake and Plain Streets from a two-way stop into a four-way stop, a topic that required some considerable discussion given it's adjacent to a school bus lot. While summer is drawing to a close, Chair Tracy Marino mentioned the beaches, mainly Little Sandy Bottom Pond, given the complaints that the chair has been hearing over litter and police calls. Town Manager Bill Chouinard cited the latest actions implemented by the town with monitoring the beaches, giving cameras and police enforcement. One of the options being floated was the possibility of a parking sticker. Assistant Town Manager Sabrina Chilcott inquired about putting beach enforcement on a future agenda, of which Tracy was receptive. With open board and committee positions left to fill, the board voted on resignations and appointments for the Historic District Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, and Advisory Committee. Among one of those being appointed to the Advisory Committee was Steve Ciciotti, who previously served as a selectman. Steve was among a few of the recognizable names who were voted in as part of the annual reappointments on the North River Commission, Old Colony Planning Council, Conservation Commission, and South Shore Community Action Council. Another board position up for vote with the Select Board was voting on a representative to serve on the Plymouth County Advisory Board, who voted for Selectman John Brown, who also provided an update on the public comment policy update under old business with a few changes. The board voted to move the new draft of the update as the new policy at the discretion of the chair. The Select Board will be back in action on Wednesday, August 6th. This has been your Pembroke government on the local scene.
Next up is poet Louise Vieira with her granddaughter Eliana Kennedy in a reading at America's Hometown Laureates Tiny Poetry event at the Mayflower Society House in Plymouth.
Next we have Louise Vieira. It's your turn now.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I have 4 modern haiku which do not follow the 575 pattern. I have 2 short poems, and then I have 1 haibun, which is prose with haiku, modern haiku. So, first haiku. My father's people were from the Azores, and this refers to that. Island mountain people, the transplanted hydrangea, never quite as blue. Anniversary dinner, watching the spring lambs, watching the sunset. And this next one was actually published in Modern Haiku. The wheat bends, her last word, stay. And in 2018, the last northern white rhino male died, so there are no more. They are, and this is in reference to that. Taps, the white rhino raises his horn. This is a short poem. My middle grandchild was born with a rare chromosomal deletion disorder called Cri-du-chat. You've probably never heard of it. We never heard of it either, but so be it. This is called the Old Sewing Drawer for Liliana. Your coiled curls spool like thin threads in the wooden drawer my mother opened to mend all that was torn and tattered and frayed. How their thin colors shone in the needle's fine eye, how your fine spirals catch the day's light, and how my mother's hands still reach to stitch your scattered ends. This next is a short poem, and it's a comment on, progress or not lack of. Once we were hooked, sharp-toothed and furred, feathered and hollow-boned. We did not file our claws. We dug deep. We rooted and grunted. We cawed. We ate the earth. We burrowed into the magic and the darkness. We soared into the day's breath. Once we had wings. Until that moonless night, we lifted our eyes and moved on and never gave it a second thought. This is, the last one is a haibun, which I said is, kind of prose and haiku. And this is for, it's called Day Song for Eliana. The rain has no voice without a shoulder to fall upon. Violin practice. Isn't it always the light, the angle, the hue, the way dust in sunlight comes alive, then settles on your shoulder, your cheekbones, the tips of your lashes, that one straight shaft from the attic window. Eliana in the light. The day, the time, the violin does not matter, is of no import, except that I hear music, a note, a squeak, a squall, a song more beautiful than a crosswind crossing a field of fine seagrass in springtime, when the moon bends and bows and swirls its yellowed skirt. Will you play for me on the bridge a weary tune when I lay mine down, bow and string upon your shoulder, out there in the woods where I walked the dogs before you were born? Pines pierce the mist, a good day to cross over. If no one minds, Ellie composed a little something, if no one minds. Maybe you should stand here, Ellie, because you're tiny.
Here, I'll help her with that. She doesn't need any help.
This one is called The Spring is Here, and I just made it while some people were doing poetry. The rain pours in spring, day and night. When the rain stops, I go outside. The spring flowers bloomed, the spring bell ringed. Spring is here, oh spring is here, oh spring is here, oh is here. Oh, I am happy, spring is here.
And that was a perfect example of the free pads of paper that we're giving away. You completed my vision. Thank you.
To better navigate a world that feels increasingly chaotic and tumultuous, join the Plymouth Public Library and organizational psychologist and New York Times best-selling author, Dr. Tasha Eurich, on Thursday, August 28th at 2 p.m. And you don't have to leave home to do it. Open up your laptop and gain valuable insights in this virtual program when Dr. Eurich will share insights from her latest book, Shatterproof: How to Thrive in a World of Constant Chaos. In this eye-opening talk, Dr. Eurich challenges the common belief that resilience alone is enough, revealing why it's a limited resource and what we can do instead. Drawing from innovative research and her own personal journey, she offers practical strategies to help you reclaim your energy, confidence, and clarity, even in the toughest times. How to Thrive in a World of Constant Chaos with organizational psychologist Dr. Tasha Eurich will be an hour long. Register through the library's website now to get the link.
Poet Jean Kraling is next in a reading of her original work at Uva Wine Bar in Plymouth.
And next up is Jean Kraling. And next up is Jean Kraling.
I would have let her get away with that, really. Hi, everyone. I am still kind of vibrating from the excitement of having spent 2 weeks in Spain in March. So I'm going to read 2 poems that come from that experience. First, The Flamenco Fan, Seville, Spain. I long to pick it up, then flick my wrist to close and open it, but I resist because I've tried that move before and failed. It looked so simple, but I only flailed and dropped the fan I'd dared to grab. I sense that this one, in its pleated elegance, its arc of painted passion boldly bared, awaits a kind of life I've never dared. A silent rhythm fills its folds, and closed or open, it's a question coyly posed, in no need of reply. It wants to be a dancer's tool, a flirt's accessory, expertly toyed with, handled with the art and ardor of flamenco, to impart an ancient story or a new desire, or both, or not a thing but its own fire. It doesn't want a tourist's ignorant and greedy touch. Although the shop is meant to sell to me, the merchant's glad to take my euros. Boxing it so it won't break, he makes the sale. I put it on display at home, where I admire it every day, but seldom touch it, for I've always known it wants a hand more Spanish than my own. Thank you. The Spanish people were astonishingly kind and encouraging and patient with me when I tried to use their language. And this next poem is about that. It's a villanelle, so you'll hear the first and third lines repeated in varying forms several times. The joy of Spanish. Somebody got the reference there. Rolled R's and tildes make it sound exotic, the music of a landscape far away. To speak it is to summon the erotic. Its open vowels welcome you, hypnotic for ear and tongue, and you will learn to say the rolled R's smoothly, so they sound exotic. Your goal of fluency may be quixotic, but with some practice, you too can convey the luscious resonance of the erotic. The rules of other languages, chaotic, complex, can hinder charming repartee, but Spanish grammar lets you sound exotic in not much time. In fact, you'll sound rhapsodic quite soon, an expert at verbal foreplay, a master of the audible erotic. The Spanish language, liltingly melodic and ripely rhythmic, sings a sweet olé. Rolled R's and tildes make it sound exotic, but yes, you too can summon the erotic. Thank you.
Turf's Up on Wednesday, August 13th at 6 p.m. when Master Gardener Gretel Ansbach will be bringing her grassroots movement to the Adams Center for an hour-long discussion of lawn and lawn alternatives. Gretel will present an array of options for eco-friendly alternatives to the traditional lawn that are not only more environmentally harmonious, but will potentially save you hundreds of hours of work and costly treatments each year. Registration is required and seats are limited, so don't wait too long to sign up. Rake your way to the Kingston Public Library website to register.
On Tuesday, August 19th, children ages 2 to 7 can get their wiggles out in an energetic, interactive musical experience with Evan Haller, an award-winning nationally touring children's musician from Boston, Massachusetts, known as Music at the Blissful. The meeting room at the Pembroke Public Library will be the stage for this lively performance full of singing, jumping, shaking, and laughter. The experience is not only fun for kids, but fosters growth across emotional, cognitive, linguistic, and physical development, while strengthening family and community connections. The show starts at 10:30 and will run for 45 musical minutes.
Next, on Community Conversations, Duxbury Senior Center Director Joanne Moore sits down with AARP State Director Jennifer Benson.
Hello, I'm Joanne Moore, and I'm the director of the Duxbury Senior Center, and I am so pleased to be here today with Jen Benson, the State Director of AARP Massachusetts. So Jen, thank you so much for being with us today. We want to learn more about AARP and this thing called ADUs, which I know people are asking about. So could you tell us a little bit about what AARP is doing to work locally and with older adults in Massachusetts?
I would love to, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to be here. So AARP Massachusetts is really working on a lot of different levels to be present in community. And one of the issues that we really pushed for last session was legislation to allow ADUs, or additional dwelling units, by right in Massachusetts. And so that legislation was passed, and now we're working with cities and towns to make sure that the local control aspects of that are moving forward seamlessly.
Interesting. And so how is it going?
It's going really well. We have been through what we call livable communities, which is the part of our office and AARP as a whole, work toward making every community more accessible, livable for all ages. And through that work, we've been in many communities providing information, presentations, and really helping the public understand what an accessory dwelling unit is and how they can help with their senior population or others in the community.
So an accessory dwelling unit, is it always attached to your house, or what does it look like?
No, it doesn't have to be attached. It can be a freestanding building on your property. It can be a floor or an added floor to your house, or it can be an attached wing off of your house. So it can be any of those things.
So why is an ADU important? I know I feel like we live in an expensive state, but is that the basis for it, or what are you seeing around the country?
So the reason AARP supported it is because for many families, they would like to make sure that elders in their family get to stay at home or stay close to them. And there are lots of community supports that can come in and help, but in a lot of ways, for families that are busy and working today, having someone co-located but with their own private space seems to be a great option. And this concept isn't new. People have been doing in-law apartments and other things for many, many, many years. But this is a way to ensure that the regulations are in place statewide, and so everyone has access based on the size of your lot, has access to doing this as an option.
And in Massachusetts, I'm not sure if this is correct, 900 square feet is the maximum, or half the size of your home?
That's correct. So, one of the issues with ADUs is that many communities had prohibitions on multifamily dwellings. And so we really wanted to make sure that this was an option for more people across the Commonwealth. And the hope is, if this is built out, we could gain 10,000 living units here in Massachusetts to help with that affordable option for families, even though it is expensive. This is not a simple thing to do for a family, but it provides those layers of both caretaking assistance and living close to home.
Yeah, which is really great. And I was talking to someone who did an ADU just recently, and it was for their adult handicapped child, so that they have an independent type living situation but are close to home. So that makes all the difference.
Adult children, other members of your family, you have an aunt or uncle who need help, this is a great option for them. So it's not just your parents, it can be any member of your family that either would like an option to be close to home, needs a little extra help, any of those things. What we're also seeing as a scenario are families who are aging, and they own the family home, but maybe they want to say, you know what, we'll let our daughter or our son take over the family home and we'll move into an ADU so we get to be close to the grandkids.
Which is a win-win.
Yeah.
So question, in the United States, where did you start seeing ADUs pop up first?
They have been lots of different places. And like I said, the idea of an in-law suite or even a freestanding house on your property is not a new idea. This has been going on for a very long time. But this has been popular in the Pacific Northwest and other areas across the country, where this idea of having a more unified approach to accessory dwelling units, rather than trying to get local approvals for an additional apartment or additional space or subdividing a home, it just makes it a little bit easier across the Commonwealth.
So have you seen a lot of ADUs out there so far? Any examples?
There is a lot of interest across the Commonwealth. I think, as you've said, you know someone who just recently built.
Right.
I think there's a lot of people looking for different designs. That's been very popular. The other thing is a lot of companies are now coming out with like a standard set of designs.
I saw that online. It was
Yeah.
really amazing. Like I was saying, it was like the Northeastern or the Midwest or,
That's
Pacific
right.
West.
And it already encompasses the regulations and the allowable size and knows what Massachusetts generally will allow. So you can hire someone or pick out which design you like, and they'll adapt it to your lot or your home. That way it really reduces cost on hiring an architect to design something, which of course you can do,
Right.
but getting one of these sort of sample or model ADU plans, makes it a lot simpler.
And it's amazing, 900 square feet seems small, but when you see the pictures, they're really quite lovely and
They
a
are.
lot of space and well done, that they've taken into account everything possible that you need, but just made it smaller.
Right, and 900 square feet is actually, if you think about it, a small, maybe ranch-style home that has 1 or 2 bedrooms. I mean, you can find houses that fall into that. So this is not a crazy little tiny studio apartment. This is a really fully functioning home. It's bigger than my daughter's apartment in downtown Boston, I can tell you
She
that.
might want an ADU in your backyard.
Yeah, she may.
At some point. So if you wanted to build an ADU, like where do you start locally? What do you do when you go to your town?
Yeah, well, first you want to make sure, what has the town put in place. So every town has their own planning department and zoning board of appeals. You want to know what the local zoning is. So when this law came into effect, each city and town they can put some parameters around it, but they can't ban it outright.
Okay.
And so it depends on your lot size. It depends what the setbacks are from your property limits. It depends on what kind of design you want. But one of the things you can do is go talk to your planning department. Find out, what are the regulations in town? What can you do from a planning perspective that would be allowable? What is the zoning where you are? And then start looking from there. Once you know that, you can hone in on the style of ADU that would work best. If you have a very small plot, lot, you may not be able to have an external ADU, but you may be able to add a level on your house, for example, or finish off a section of your house. So there's different options depending on what your current setup is.
Perfect. So how are you seeing a lot of them around the Commonwealth? I mean, this only came into effect in like January or February.
Yeah, we are getting reports all the time of people in various stages of planning or building their ADU. I will say, one thing this legislation did not do is provide a funding source. So this is like building a home or building an apartment. It's costly. We're hoping that there will be some sort of programs put in place to help, whether with low cost mortgages or something to help stimulate building ADUs, because we have a housing crisis.
Right.
This is a great opportunity for families to be together, but still be respectful of each other's boundaries. And so one of the biggest barriers is cost.
So if, as an advocate or someone who wants that, should we reach out to our local representatives, and what should we say?
Yeah, so, your local state senator, state representative, I was in the legislature for many years, so I know it's really important to hear from your constituents. If this is something you'd like the legislature to look at and pursue, absolutely. I think it's important for them to know this is great, but can we build onto this program and really make it more feasible for more people?
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing all this great information. I mean, I think ADUs are a perfect option for some people, maybe not for everyone, but there wasn't an option before. And So anything we can do to help that housing shortage is really a wonderful thing for our communities.
Absolutely, and this can be an affordable way for families with their aging loved one to come together and design, plan how to pay for it together. And yeah, it can be a great option for folks.
Well, thank you for coming here today and sharing this wonderful information. And if anyone who's watching wants to learn more about ADUs, a great place to go is to your planning department, it sounds. And how about, is there any information on AARP? Like, where would they go on your website?
Yeah, so if you go to aarp.org/MA, Mass, you will find information from our Livable Communities work, and there'll be information there on ADUs.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing the information, and I hope everyone finds this really helpful.
Great. Thank you for inviting me.
And that, my friends, wraps this episode of The Local Scene this week. Thank you for watching.
If you live or work in Plymouth, Pembroke, Kingston, or Duxbury and would like to have your own show or podcast, you should. Email community@thelocalscene.media to find out about our free production services and training for community members.
And if you have a story or event you'd like people to know about, email us at story@thelocalscene.media.
And we thank our patrons, Tiny & Sons, Quintal Brothers, and Squinny's Pizza, for supporting our mission of community in action through media.
We'll be back next week with more of what's good and good to know in our area. Until then, we'll see you on The Local Scene. Hello, friend. If you enjoyed this video, please think about scanning the QR code and making a contribution to The Local Scene. Every dollar is appreciated, and your support helps keep community media alive and our resources free to the community. We'll see you on The Local Scene.